In today's culture, vampires have become a phenomenon of entertainment in movies, holidays like Halloween, and merchandising. But have you ever thought about the origins of the vampire myth? Believe it or not, vampires were not the first mythological creatures created that would take advantage of human life for its own nourishment. Around 4000 BC, ancient Mesopotamians believed in spirit beings that were vampire like. Ikimu were restless, hungry ghosts that were thought to attack people. Utuku were a type of spirit that could be vampiric or cause disease. Vampires may merely be adaptations of these past myths. However, records of seemingly supernatural occurrences favor the fact that vampires were created not as an adaptation, but as a whole new creature to explain creepy occurrences. Imagine yourself in 18th century England in a small town. You have witnessed the hanging of a man that has been accused of witchcraft that day. So you feel a little uneasy and you go straight home. That night is especially chilly, so you get out of bed to close the windows when suddenly you see a figure walking down the street. Who could it be at this time of night, you think to yourself as you squint your eyes to get a clearer image of the silhouette's face. When he gets close enough, you realize that it's the same man that was executed earlier that day. You have heard the tales of the undead coming back to feast on the life of townsfolk like yourself, and now, suddenly, it is happening to you. This illustration might have actually occurred in various locations throughout the world in 1700s. Premature burials were common occurrences among the executed because they would not be given a proper burial. This might have influenced the creation of the vampire myth in medieval Europe because people did not know what we know today about how the body functions. And they thought that these people were coming back from the dead, when in fact they weren't. This would happen because sometimes after a person would be hanged, they would merely become unconscious. The only way for the town's physician to determine if the perpetrator was dead or not was to check the pulse, and since they were unconscious, their blood pressure was very low, thus resulting in an inaccurate diagnosis. As the vampire myth started to spread across Europe, people started developing preventive measures against these monsters. One very influential person in vampire hunting history was Dom Augustin Calmet, a Roman Catholic scholar who decided to conduct a study on the subject of vampirism. He published a book that showed all the symptoms and preventive measures relating to the undead. Some of the ways people would prevent vampires from rising from their graves would be by placing a brick on the corpse's mouth, hammering a stake through the heart, or decapitating the corpse. Today's culture has weakened the image of the vampire so much that people do not remember their origins are so macabre. Maybe if 18th century Europeans had a bit more biological knowledge, then we would not have the creature that is the vampire today.